Are you tired of working hard but never feeling financially free? Robert Kiyosaki once said, "The moment you work for money, you're trapped. But what if you could make money work for you?" In this video, I'm sharing powerful lessons from Robert Kiyosaki that completely changed how I view wealth. From understanding the difference between assets and liabilities to shifting your mindset about money, these insights can transform your financial future. Ready to break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle? Let's dive into the strategies that helped Kiyosaki and countless others build lasting wealth. Stay with me until the end, and you might discover the mindset shift that could change your life. Imagine growing up being told that school would prepare you for life, only to discover it never taught you the one thing you need most: how to handle money. I remember asking my father why schools never teach about money. He was a highly educated man, a PhD, and the head of education, yet he simply replied, "Because the government doesn't allow us to teach that subject." That answer puzzled me. Weren't we going to school to prepare for life to make money? But according to him, our purpose was just to get a job. That never sat well with me. If the ultimate goal of getting a job was to make money, wouldn't it make sense to learn about money directly? My father grew flustered by my questions and eventually advised me to speak with my best friend's father, Mike's dad. Why? Because Mike's dad was an entrepreneur, unlike my father, who was a government employee. My father explained that entrepreneurs must understand money to survive, whereas employees rely on their employers and the government for financial stability. Curious and determined, I approached Mike's father, eager to learn, but he dismissed me at first. Persistence paid off, though. Eventually, he agreed to teach me. Under one condition, he would never pay me. Confused, I asked why. He explained, "The moment I pay you, you'll start thinking like an employee. And that's a trap. Entrepreneurs work for free to learn how to make money on their own." At 9 years old, that idea cracked my mind open. No paycheck? How was I supposed to make money? He told me, "That's for entrepreneurs to figure out." And so began my education. Mike's dad had me doing odd jobs, cleaning, picking up cigarette butts, working in his offices, all without pay. But alongside this hands-on work, he introduced me to the game of Monopoly. At first, I didn't understand the connection. Frustrated, I asked when he would actually start teaching me about money. He looked at me and said, "What do you think we're doing?" Through Monopoly, he revealed one of the simplest yet most powerful wealth-building strategies. For greenhouses, one red hotel. It sounded almost too simple, but that principle, accumulating small assets to eventually invest in larger ones, was a real-life strategy he applied himself. Years later, when I was 19 and studying in New York, I returned home to Hawaii to see that Mike's father had bought the largest piece of land in Waikiki. Today, that land is home to the Hyatt Regency Hotel. He had turned the Monopoly lesson into reality, acquiring small properties and building up to major investments. That was the blueprint. Watching him transform that simple game strategy into tangible wealth taught me a lesson more valuable than any classroom lecture. It's a powerful reminder that the greatest lessons in wealth aren't found in textbooks, but through experience, persistence, and the courage to think differently. You don't need a paycheck to succeed. You need knowledge, strategy, and the willingness to step outside the comfort zone of employment. Mike's father didn't just teach me about money. He showed me how to think like an entrepreneur, to build and grow wealth with purpose. This mindset challenges the traditional path that many of us are taught to follow. Schools prepare us to be employees, not entrepreneurs. They don't teach us about managing finances, making investments, or creating passive income streams. Instead, we're conditioned to believe that the safest route is to get a stable job, work hard, and save money. But as Mike's father demonstrated, real financial freedom comes from understanding how money works and learning how to make it work for you. Reflecting on those lessons now, I realize how many people are trapped by the paycheck mentality. They trade time for money, hoping for raises and promotions, but never learning how to create wealth. They fear stepping out of their comfort zones, afraid of failure. But failure, as Mike's dad showed me, is part of the journey. It's how you learn, adapt, and grow. Entrepreneurs see opportunities where others see obstacles. They take calculated risks, learn from their mistakes, and keep moving forward. One of the most important lessons I learned was the difference between assets and liabilities. Schools don't teach us this distinction, yet it's fundamental to building wealth. An asset puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. Mike's father stressed the importance of acquiring assets, properties, businesses, investments, things that generate income even when you're not actively working. This is how the rich get richer. So, if you're stuck in the paycheck mindset, ask yourself, what can I do today to start building my assets? How can I shift my thinking from earning a paycheck to creating wealth? The answers might just change your life just as they did mine. Imagine growing up being told that school would prepare you for life, only to realize it never taught you the most essential skill: how to handle money. I remember asking my father why schools never teach about money. He was a highly educated man, a PhD, and the head of education, yet he simply replied, "Because the government doesn't allow us to teach that subject." That answer puzzled me. Aren't we going to school to prepare for life and earn money? But according to him, our purpose was just to get a job. That never made sense to me. If the goal of getting a job was to make money, wouldn't it be smarter to learn about money directly? My father grew frustrated by my questions and eventually suggested I talk to my best friend's father, Mike's dad. Why? Because Mike's dad was an entrepreneur, unlike my father, who was a government employee. He explained that entrepreneurs must understand money to survive, while employees rely on their employers and the government for security. Determined, I approached Mike's father to learn, but he brushed me off at first. My persistence paid off, and eventually he agreed to teach me on one condition: he would never pay me. Confused, I asked why. He explained, "The moment I pay you, you'll think like an employee, and that's a trap. Entrepreneurs work for free to learn how to make money." At 9 years old, that concept blew my mind. "No paycheck? How would I make money?" He said, "That's for entrepreneurs to figure out." So began my education. Mike's dad had me doing odd jobs, cleaning, picking up cigarette butts, working in his offices without pay. But alongside these tasks, he introduced me to the game of Monopoly. At first, I didn't see the connection. Frustrated, I asked when he would start teaching me about money. He looked at me and said, "What do you think we're doing?" Through Monopoly, he revealed a simple but powerful wealth-building strategy. For greenhouses, one red hotel. It sounded too easy, but that principle, accumulating small assets to eventually invest in larger ones, was a real-life strategy he used himself. Years later, when I was 19 and studying in New York, I returned home to Hawaii and saw that Mike's father had bought the largest piece of land in Waikiki. Today, that land is home to the Hyatt Regency Hotel. He didn't find that property by luck. He used what's called an assemblage strategy. Waikiki was once a small, quiet town, and the property he purchased wasn't large at first. He gradually bought out small shop owners, assembling a substantial piece of land. Eventually, he partnered with Hyatt to build the massive hotel that now stands there. That property later sold for $800 million. That experience was how I truly learned about money. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. I've had financial crashes and been betrayed, yet every failure was a chance to grow. Many people avoid mistakes because they're taught to fear failure. But without failure, there's no growth. Life is about balance, and those unwilling to face failure stay stuck. I wasn't poor by most standards, but I grew up in a household with a poor mindset. Poverty isn't just a lack of money. It's a mindset passed down through families. The poor are taught to fear risk, to work hard for money without learning how money works. Schools reinforce this by training students to become employees, not entrepreneurs. They never teach about money, debt, or taxes, the very knowledge that builds wealth. Mike's father learned about money not through school but through necessity. His father died when he was 13, forcing him to run the family business. Dropping out of school turned out to be a blessing. His real teachers were his bookkeeper, accountant, attorney, bankers, and real estate agents, people actively practicing what they taught. Contrast that with school teachers who often teach subjects they never apply themselves. That taught me the importance of learning from real practitioners, not just theorists. My team of accountants, attorneys, and bankers solve real-world problems with me daily. That's real education. One of the most valuable lessons I learned was understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Schools don't teach this distinction, yet it's fundamental to building wealth. An asset puts money in your pocket while a liability takes money out. Mike's father emphasized acquiring assets, properties, businesses, investments, things that generate income even when you're not actively working. Over time, I realized that the traditional path wasn't for me. I didn't want to work for money. I wanted money to work for me. That mindset shift was liberating. It allowed me to think creatively, take risks, and pursue opportunities that aligned with my goals. I began to understand that wealth isn't just about having money. It's about having the freedom to live life on your own terms. Mike's father's lessons went beyond money. He taught me about discipline, patience, and the importance of continuous learning. He encouraged me to read books, attend seminars, and surround myself with people who shared my ambitions. He emphasized that building wealth is a long-term game, one that requires dedication and resilience. Now, when I look at the Hyatt Regency in Waikiki, I don't just see a hotel, I see. Growing up, I heard two very different mindsets about money. My highly educated father, a PhD and head of education, would often say things like, "What do you think I am, made of money?" Or, "I can't afford that." Those words stuck with me because they reflected a mindset of limitation. My rich dad, on the other hand, had a completely different approach. He believed that saying, "I can't afford it," was a mental escape, an easy way out. He taught me that statements like that close the mind. Instead, he encouraged me to ask, "How can I afford it?" Or, "What would it take to make this happen?" By asking questions, you open your mind to possibilities, creativity, and solutions. Statements shut you down, but questions push you forward. This difference in mindset is crucial. Poor people often say, "I can't afford it," "I can't do that," or "I don't have time." These phrases become self-fulfilling prophecies, reinforcing a cycle of limitation. My rich dad taught me that success comes from challenging yourself to find answers, not excuses. Everyone has a different financial path. Some thrive in business, others in real estate, or even solo ventures like golf. The key is to find your game and approach it with an open, curious mind. Success starts with a single step, and today you've taken that step by learning Robert Kiyosaki's powerful lessons on building wealth. Now it's time to apply that knowledge. Shift your mindset, invest in assets, and let money work for you. If you're ready to break free from financial limits and create a life of true freedom, don't stop here. Together, let's keep learning, growing, and building the future you deserve. Thanks for watching. Your journey to financial success begins now. Robert Kiyosaki's lessons aren't just about making money. They're about changing how we think about wealth and success. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter, letting money work for you, and building assets that create lasting financial freedom. Now it's your turn to take control. Ask yourself, how can I start building my assets today? Shift your mindset, embrace new opportunities, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're part of the journey to success. If these lessons inspired you, imagine what more you could learn. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful insights and strategies that can help you transform your financial future. Thank you for watching, and I wish you success on your journey to financial freedom.